that our first session was very interactive and was very successful. Now the second session panel also very learned, and General Ahsanul Haq is presiding over this session. You know, General Ahsanul Haq, he does not need any introduction. Nevertheless, he reached to the position of 4-star General and Chairman Chief of Joint Staff Committee. He is a nice person and respected in all the circles. He has the opportunity to go abroad often to deliver the lecture and has remained very close to the subject matter. In fact, he was the custodian of our nuclear program. Thank you very much. Over to General Hassan.
I don't require introduction. We'll first have Dr. Rizwana Abbasi, and it's a particular pleasure for me to introduce her because she's so young, and I came across her a couple of years back when she was doing her PhD research in Leicester University in London, and I happened to be addressing the RUSI, that was the Royal United Services Institute, on this topic was Kashmir, I think, Rizwana. And a young girl came up and said, "Sir, can I have your interview?" And I said, what are you doing? Why do you want my interview? And she said, "Sir, I'm doing a PhD on nuclear," what was it? Can you give us the topic?
Nuclear non-proliferation and international security, particularly with reference to Pakistan.
Now, that was specifically non-proliferation, specific to Pakistan. And she, of course, caught me on the wrong foot by saying that if I have an interview, my thesis will go through. So I said, if it is that simple, you're most welcome, I will. I normally don't give interviews, but I will give you an interview, and I did. And I'm glad she has done extremely well in clearing her PhD, and she is now teaching at the National Defense University in Islamabad, and I'm confident she has a very bright future. We need young people like her, as I can see many other faces, bright faces in this room, who are interested in these strategic issues. And we need you all to be the future thinkers and strategists of Pakistan. So we'll first have Dr. Rizwana Abbasi speak on the subject. Rizwana, over to you.
I'm privileged and honored to hold this podium today. I have been given a huge agenda on such short notice of a day or so. Before I proceed further, let me familiarize you with the content of my talk today. I tried dealing with the subject on ontological and epistemological lines to give logical ground to today's debate. Within that first part, I will introduce you to security environment, regional security complexes, and states' domestic level politics in contemporary security environment in general. The idea is to find a logical ground to see how these three major interlinked and impact state actors' decisions and policies. In the second part of this debate, I will discuss Fmct, how it factors the three levels of international security setting at global, regional, and domestic level. In the third and final part, I would discuss the available policy options for Pakistan, in particular an international non-proliferation community in general. Before we talk about Fmct, we need to understand how international system works and why these treaties-based arrangements are important. What purpose these regimes, treaties, or agreements represent in this international security environment. Realists in international security system have clearly warranted that rules are typically formulated in international agreements which are embodied in organizations functioning by means of powerful states, their own personnels and budgets. Can you kindly go back for me to the previous slide? Realist scholars have related the creation and persistence of regimes and treaties to hegemonic stability theory, that a hegemon formulates regimes because it possesses the powerful economic resources and technological advancements through which it can compel others to join and contribute to the maintenance of that regime. Thus, here we regard liberal institutional theories as a flawed approach and institution promises as false promises. Realists predict that there is nothing more than relative gains than problem of cheating and maximization of security and power. At the regional level settings, within realism, there are further logical and epistemological understanding which give rich analysis to understand the regional system, how it works and how it depends on or reflect the international security order. States' perceived external threats, adversaries, international goals, the nature of enemies, military technology, the quality of information that each state has about the other's military program, and mixture of internal factors, delineation factors, or unit-level factors provide a much richer picture to understand how regional settings shape up. In regional security complexes, interaction between security seekers can be understood on the basis of security dilemma, increasing security at the expense of adversaries' insecurity, action-reaction models, which is that states strengthen their armaments because the threat of the states perceived from other states, Jarvis' spiral model, and structural realist theories. In contrast, the decisions of greedy states, which have aspirational other than security, lie in the domain of neoclassical realism. The greedy states motivate arms race at the regional level through its defensive and offensive postures, and increases the probability of war, undermining regional security and weaker states' defensive postures. Domestic level model politics, we go a level below and see states' policy, why do they join these regimes and why they abstain from them. The states' actors join these treaty-based regimes when it suits their best national interest. They restrain doing so when their national interests are at stake, as guided by realism. Here, external perceived threats and security maximization is the ultimate goal. Neoclassical realists reject the assumption that security is sole aim or purpose. Instead, states attempt to use their power to direct the international system towards their own goals and preferences. Therefore, states that are more powerful will prosecute foreign policies that are more far-reaching at unit level factors, also matter though factors such as state structure and elite psychology reflect international politics and determine responses. Conventional constructivism gives us a clear understanding that states behave and their motivation is mainly guided by their strategic culture. Inane politics assumes that foreign policy is a direct growth of domestic model politics. Question here arises, what is standing of a FMCD in the above categorized three-level system, and that why do realists limit the role of cooperation, and what are the problems within FMCD at international, regional, and domestic level? Now I would like to proceed and talk about FMCD, its role in international order, regional complex security order, and domestic level politics. The major strength of FMCD is CD Forum. The overall most underpinning arrangement on disarmament is directed by CD that has a special relationship with the UN. The agenda of the CD includes, as you can see,